Welcome to DC Fan Gives Hope. I get asked, and I've done videos concerning the Zack Snyder Cut. And some videos that I make, you always get somebody making some sort of comment with some sort of link saying release the Snyder Cut. Now, I was asked, does it exist? Do I believe in it? Because some people say it doesn't exist. So here's my theory on if or doesn't exist. And my theory is it does. But let's not call it the Zack Snyder Cut. Let's call it the Director's Cut. And I've googled the definition of Director's Cut, and I've looked at it, and I've listened to people talk about what happens to a director's film, what happens to its vision when it goes out and stuff like that, and this is my conclusion and this is my theory with some of the information I've gathered. Believe me or don't believe me, it's entirely up to yourself. This is my opinion. Every film that gets made has the director's vision. Whether it will be a film with say 3 hours or whatnot, and then it's because the director is trying to tell a story, he films so much, he then sits back and he watches it, and then he decides if the pacing is right and everything else, and then he edits in a way where he believes he's telling the story to the best way. And so in BVS case, there is some evidence that states that that Zack Snyder, he edited the film himself, and he always had his extended version out there, and probably came to an agreement with Warner Brothers to release one in the cinema and release an extra one on DVD. Now, Richard Donner, he had made something like 90% of Superman 2 before it was taken away from him. So all that footage was always there for him to use. But it took something, I don't know, let's just say 10, 15 years or something, until the Richard Donner of Superman 2 came out. Now, he probably was allowed to do that. He already had the film, or it was in storage or something like that, and the studio says, yeah, we'll help finance and get your film out. It's a good way of revamping interest in a film 10, 15 years old. So for them it was a win-win, because people will then go back and invest in buying Superman 2 because they're going to get something else. So he already had those scenes done, and he was given permission to the studio. So now with Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman, there's very little deleted scenes or anything else, and what you saw in the film was her take, and she said that there were not many. I think there was like one scene taken out, and that was to do with the mother boxes, but apart from that, the film came out the way it wanted. James Wan, he's holding back on the trailer. Why? It's because he first of all wants to get the film done to his spec. First of all, he wanted it finished. He wants every shot taken. So when he releases the trailer, this is just my idea, when he releases the trailer, what you'll see in the trailer will be in the film, because that's the main thing about, is there another version out there, is what you see in the trailer doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be in the film. So for me, it's a good way of saying that the longer we wait for a trailer, the more right it is when we see it, that the majority of it is going to end up in the film. Like Patty Jenkins, James Wan, he's not releasing it until he's totally happy this is the film he wants to be released, and he's not going to be pressurised into releasing anything, and maybe has a big hand on the trailer himself. With BVS or Justice League, it was like, get it out there. There was not, there was A lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. We weren't too sure what was going to be in the film or out the film. The timing and things said we need a Justice League trailer out and stuff like that. But with this, but by this time in post-production, Zack Snyder already done the majority of the film. He had already shot majority of the film, and it was down to Joss Whedon to step in because he stepped out. No, whatever way you want to believe, and if Zack Snyder was kicked out or whatnot, or he just left because he had enough or whatever. Believe whatever you want. Okay, we've all got opinions on what happened, but one of the main truths is Joss Whedon came in and he changed a few things and edited and cut things out. But those things that was cut out it's still always there. Zack Snyder has been credited as director, so it's his film. So it's led to believe that there is all that footage there now. When George Lucas was making Star Wars, and he wanted to sell the film, he got pictures of film reels of old World War I or II planes flying by and stuff in order to showcase. Now, in this footage that Zack Snyder might have showed other people, it may be of a mixture of real life mixed in with shots, screenshot, pictures on the board of what would be happening next, and then back to live shots. So it might not have all been finished, but the idea and everything else is in place. Hence why people sometimes talk about how much is it going to be to finish the film. Now, as far as Warner Brothers is concerned, the film's out, is finished. It broke even. They didn't spend that much on reshoots or whatever, so to them it's finished. They don't want to spend any more money on it or whatnot in relation. But so, rumour has it that Zack Snyder has taken the film for his own company, and they're going to finish it off there. So Warner Brothers doesn't want to lose any ties with Zack Snyder and his film company, so they're letting him to do this, and then all they've got to do is, in order to get the film out there, to have it in billions of DVDs around the world and stuff like that, they need Warner Brothers say so to release it. Quite similar to what happened with Richard Donner. In order for the studio to make money, it was like 10-15 years down the line. Do I believe we have to wait that long for any sort of extra cut for Justice League? Not necessarily. But that then goes ahead, and so taking all that evidence aside, that there's all this stuff that Zack Snyder had done, may not have finished, but the idea is there, and or he may have finished it. But then you talk about the music, as was the music finished? Well, there were stories that the composer Junkie XL had already written music for every character. There may be a film out there. We saw the bonus scene with Superman walking through the Fortress of Solitude, picking his suit out. There was a tune there, so maybe there's footage with music on it. So far we've been seeing stills of stuff that he shot or filmed or whatever on the set of Justice League, but there's not been that much on the music score. Again, maybe it's already been fitted in. Maybe all they need to do was a wee touch up here and there, but then again, if you're going to have to maybe you have to go over the whole film again, sound-wise, quality-wise, and then dig up old footage that hasn't got music attached to it to re-put your stuff in. But it is feasible, and it could be a long process to do. So that is why I believe there is a cut out there. There is a director's cut out there. Like I believe there's a director's cut to everything. As I say, though, I don't think we'll ever get a director's cut for Wonder Woman. By the looks of things, we won't get a director's cut of Aquaman. I think these are finished films. There was no hassle behind it, unlike Justice League. I believe Blade Runner had a lot of hassle as well. So let me know your thoughts and feelings or ideas and about it. But yeah, I believe there's a cut. Hopefully, mind check out my page, DC Fan Gives Hope, and and hailthevillains.com for your 15% discount by just putting in DC Hope. Thank you very much.